Well, here's what seems weird is that NASA was always, I mean, they were the smartest folks around, or at least allegedly. They always had a backup plan for everything. And I remember a science teacher telling me, you see these two, I think they were cables or, yeah, they were tubes. And he said, this one comes from the auto parts store. It's $3. This one NASA made as a connection within one of the space capsules, I think the Apollo. And he says, this one costs 200, but this one has a 1 in 10 million chance of failing. I mean, they were always the folks who did everything, and they did it to the highest, to the nth degree, to make sure that they had as close to a never fail mission as possible. How in the world did that agency become the one with diversity for all and the rest of this nonsense that you've uncovered at openthebooks.com?
Yeah, Lars, it's really a troubling story. Look, we've got stranded astronauts and all kinds of issues at NASA. And one of the reasons is they spent $20 million during the Biden years on DEI projects and grants. And look, identity politics has no place in NASA. Anti-racism talks and gender affirmation policies do nothing to make space travel safer. So I think by getting rid of DEI, NASA can take one small step toward fiscal responsibility and one giant leap toward common sense.
Well, and in fact, is it possible to argue, John, that it actually makes space travel more dangerous? I mean, I may get sued by Boeing, but I have a feeling that the fact that Boeing embraced DEI big time, and they have airplanes with parts that fall off in the middle of the sky, and they have a spacecraft that managed to get the astronauts to the space station, but could not bring them home, that the DEI may have played some role in that. I think it actually makes things more dangerous, doesn't it?
We uncovered emails that required employees to do things like attend a full day, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility day. And they did things like study the table of diversity that's modeled after the periodic table of elements. Well, maybe if they focused more on the hard science, that would make space travel safer, faster, cheaper, and spent less time on these ideological crusades. That to your point, I think it's certainly fair to say it makes space travel more dangerous.
Well, and in fact, one of the things you uncovered at Open the Books was this book called Diversity Beyond Lip Service, a coaching guide for challenging bias. And the book within it says they explicitly set out to make white men feel discomfort. So in other words, look, I understand that smart engineers can come in both genders and all skin colors and the rest of that. But if you're out teaching people, let's make the white men feel uncomfortable. And some of them are the engineers and the scientists who are helping make this stuff work right. That doesn't seem to lend to the mission.
Yeah, look, and the standard ought to be in NASA and every federal agency and every part of our society, Lars, is merit. And that's what this country is founded on. It's based on this idea that we're all created equally. We're all made in God's image. And if natural law, nature's God, whatever your belief system is, we're all equal. And you want to focus on equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. And that's what DEI has done, is it's really diluted and hurt human dignity. All of these acronyms and symbols that we add to people's identities, all of those become a subtraction, is that you have value because of who you are. It doesn't matter if you're white. It doesn't matter if you're from America. It matters because you're a human being made in the image of God. And that's the lesson that I think these agencies have lost track of. And it's really an anti-science mission that they've gone towards, is this idea that let's dilute science, let's dilute the real focus by obsessing over identity politics. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous for space travel. It's dangerous for a lot of other fields.
Well, in fact, even popular culture has argued that NASA got over this to some degree a long, long, long time ago, because one of the movies out there, and I wish I could remember the name, you may remember the name, but it's a young lady who's a black lady, and she's working at NASA, and all the engineers are the white guys with white pocket protectors and white short sleeve shirts. And they, of course, think nothing of her skills and abilities until they're illustrated by her actual skills and abilities. And NASA was very proud of, hey, look at this. We recognize this. Well, when did that happen? 1960s, about half a century ago.
Right.
Okay, so why do we need the DEI stuff now? Does anybody at NASA try to explain that?
Yeah, no, there's really no defense for it. Look, and math, when you think about math and Newtonian physics and atmospheric reentry, none of those things care about someone's race or gender. I mean, when you think about math, is one of the purest forms of science, and anyone can do math well. And so when you start focusing on these hyper leftist notions and crusades, all it does is take people's focus off the real mission, which is to make space travel as safe and affordable as it can be, and to explore new frontiers, and to really spark the imagination of people like you and I who grew up as kids, watching the space shuttle and studying about space. And that's what NASA really needs to get back to.